Sir, we have an update with the Russian nukes placed in Cuba. Khrushchev has given the order to launch the nukes, and the coast of Florida is about to be nuked. What do we do?
What? McNamara, am I hearing this correctly? Are you saying that the Russians are going to launch a full-out nuclear war on us?
Yes, Mr. President.
What? I thought Khrushchev was going to negotiate with us.
I knew we couldn't trust those gosh dang Russians. What do you plan to do, Mr. President? We still have those nuclear missiles in Turkey ready for deployment.
Alright, two can play that game. Nuke 'em.
So, what if the Cuban Missile Crisis escalated? The world would end in a nuclear fallout. The US and the USSR would be forced into an all-out nuclear war with both sides pointing nukes at each other, determined to destroy each other in an ideological battle between democracy and communism. The Soviet Union would aim nuclear missiles at Washington, D.C., as well as other major US cities. NATO would work collectively together to nuke Russia, along with other Warsaw Pact countries. The US and the Soviet Union would lock in mutually assured destruction, with both of them dying to each other's hands. Vast swaths of land across North America and Europe would be decimated from the onslaught of nuclear armaments and missiles. The US would likely prevail in the war due to their advantage in missile technology and range. But both the US and the USSR would be completely and utterly destroyed from the nuclear war, that it would be hard to predict if it would be possible to return to the old world order before the Cuban Missile Crisis.
What's happening outside?
It's just, this Daniel Shea person is leading a rebellion with his fellow farmers to rebel against, our nation's unjust economic conditions. And apparently our government is refusing to step in to stop the rebellion.
But the rebellions, shouldn't we say something or do something or do anything?
Like, what?
The Articles of Confederation are clearly not strong enough to correctly run our nation. I propose the idea of separation of powers. We expand into 3 branches: executive, legislative, judicial. To ensure that one branch does not get too powerful, we employ the system of checks and balances. No, that is not enough. We employ popular sovereignty to give power to the people. We shall have a limited government to ensure that the president does not have tyranny. We shall create judicial review to ensure the authority of the judicial branch. We shall use the principles of federalism to construct a new nation. Yes, this is America.
Are you dumb? That was like the stupidest idea I've ever heard. Ever. Like, in the world.
The US government system would utterly fail. Due to its weaknesses, the US would never become the superpower it is today. The Louisiana Purchase would never have occurred, and the US would have never underwent manifest destiny. There would be no national court system, no national currency. The US would not be strong enough to maintain its isolationist policies. It would be practically impossible to fix the Articles. The states would each have its own unique political and cultural identity, and the Union would never be truly unified.
Hello, I'm a new war recruit signing up for the Axis Powers. I am from the proud United States of America, and I am ready to fight in the war against the evil Allied powers.
Wait, the US is fighting for the Nazis now? I never would have expected that.
Yeah, of course I am. See, I'm a war recruit for the United States of America, signing up for the Axis Powers.
But it's run under Hitler, and Hitler wants to kill all the Jews or something. And he's gonna unify all of Europe into Germany.
Whatever.
If the US joined the Nazis and the Axis powers, then the Axis powers would win World War II in an overwhelming landslide over the Allied powers. America's powerful industrial force and its strong navy would allow the Axis powers to overwhelm the Allied powers, allowing for a swift Axis victory. Germany would take over all of Russia. Japan would take control of China. What would happen after World War II, you ask? Well, the world would likely develop into a new Cold War because Germany and the US would fight.
Some say that I'm going against the original imperialist ideologies of my presidential predecessors by introducing self-determination. Through self-determination, I was able to achieve the goal that I set out to achieve, make the world safe for democracy. I was never really fond of imperialism anyway. My name is Woodrow Wilson, and I've lost the election of 1912. The United States would have been perfect under my democracy. I would have encouraged neutrality from the Great War, allowing the United States to be free from the grasp of European affairs. I would have enacted the Clayton Antitrust Act, which would have been one of my best moves yet. I would have enacted the Federal Reserve Act, which would have created the central banking system that would control the money supply and interest rates. I would have passed the 19th Amendment, the greatest progressive milestone in the history of women's rights. I would have become the face of Pacheco's University, but unfortunately, I lost to...
Oh, hello there. My name is Theodore Roosevelt, and I am the 28th President of the United States.
My name is Theodore Roosevelt, and I was the 26th President of the United States, but now I am currently the 28th President of the United States. To ensure that the United States has a pivotal role in international affairs, I will use my big stick, diplomacy. The Great War? More like what war? We already won. Ha! I would have made the US join the war the minute war broke out in Europe. My Progressive Bull Moose Party shall create immense progressive change in the United States. The Clayton Antitrust Act? Pfft, we don't need some silly act like that. All you need is me, Theodore Roosevelt, the Trust Buster. I will ensure that the Republican Party will continue to dominate far into the 1920s and 1930s. I shall tutor my young cousin, FDR, to become a fellow Republican like me, and the reign of Roosevelt will continue on.
What is it, Abigail? Is there something you need to tell me?
Remember the taxes need to be paid.
Ah, yes, the taxes. I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure every single president makes sure to remember that the taxes need to be paid. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. What are women doing here? This is no place for women. Clearly, the Seneca Falls Convention are only for men in establishing male dominance. This is no place for women.
Sir, we believe that women should be able to receive more rights. Men are tyrants to us, fragile ladies. It's not okay.
Like, this is literally the declaration of sentiments. Like, it literally says that men are better than women. So, that's absurd. Don't you know? Our country was founded by the founding fathers. How absurd would it be to say founding mothers? Like, I don't know. Like, the Declaration of Independence was literally drafted by men, and the entirety of our nation relies on the bravery of men. Do you see women holding rifles and like shooting people? No, women were meant to cook and clean, make sandwiches, and gossip about like girl stuff. Ah, yes, what the nation needs. An amendment that benefits society as a whole. One that is superior to all the other amendments. Why? This is a great amendment. The best in history. Alcohol indeed is a necessity to life. Not taxing alcohol was a great decision.
Sir, Mr. Wilson, there seems to be a confusion in Congress. This is Amendment 19?
Yes, what of it?
Amendment 19? Mr. Wilson, there seems to be a problem. We don't have an 18th Amendment yet, but you're already signing the 19th Amendment?
So I should pay your taxes yet?
I should probably go do them.